Hey guys, Drew here, and today I'm gonna be trying to get this old tractor running for a family member. Don't be throwing rocks at my camera.
It's not wrong.
So anyways guys, this is a 1963-1964 John Deere 1010W. On this John Deere, they have the 710 loader and they have a backhoe attachment, which we'll get to in a little bit. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go through, I'm gonna check all the fluids. I have some new spark plugs, new oil filter. I need to check the ice cube juice. Need to see if that tank is rusty, the fuel tank. Check the air cleaner. Basically, we're gonna go front to back with everything and see if we can at least get this thing to spark off. So let's go ahead and get our hands into this and see what we can make happen. All right guys, so this is the right-hand side of the engine bay, but these old tractors, a lot of old farm equipment, it would be a positive ground. Now this is a 4-cylinder 1.9 gas engine. These did come in a diesel variety as well. You can see here we have the sparkulator, we've got some wires coming out. This right here is your oil filter. This right here is your generator. Now the generator does have 2 oiling locations. There's one in the back and one on the front. So in between the oil filter and the generator is where you're gonna find your serial number. So if you ever need to look up a service manual for these old John Deeres, serial number plate is in between those 2 against the engine block. All right, so then right here, guys, this is your oil check. Let's see, oh, she's got oil on her. She's pretty dark, but she's full. So just behind the battery tray is the air filter assembly. There should be a dry filter in the upper half of this, as well as this is an oil catch for the air filter. And then it has a pre-clean assembly up on top, which we'll get to here in a little bit. So right here, guys, is the carburetor. Here's the air inlet. It looks like someone cut the fuel line or it rusted out, but this looks to be a pretty clean cut. Now, normally these John Deeres have a glass bowl sediment filter. Looks like somebody might have switched it out. There might be an offset with a screen up in the tank because this old John Deere might be rusted out, but we'll open this up. I wonder if there's any fuel. I'll turn the lever. Oh, there's some fuel coming out. Good, so that means there's at least fuel in the tank, so hopefully it's not too rusted out in there. Starter's down here, guys. I don't think you can see it in the video. It's a pretty big starter. All right, guys, so up on top here, this is the pre-air filter cleaner. So Wyatt, go ahead and spray this nut down. We're gonna have to get that off of there somehow. Just give it a squirt. We'll let that sit for a minute. That's good.
Didn't answer cell phone either. Oh, it is full of oil.
Yep. That's the oil catch for the air filter. So we're going to change this fluid out. So the next thing we need to do is I need to fix this fuel line. So I just need to go find some tubing. I have a little piece of fuel hose right here. Hopefully this will fit. Oh, that one went on there. All right, well, that might work. This. Hope this works. Oh, it's coming out of the carburetor. Oh, it's coming out pretty good. Yeah. So that means the float is stuck open. All right, guys, so it's been about 2 weeks since I got the tractor to turn over. Now on the fuel system side of things, I'm pretty sure I have a bad float or the float valve is stuck open. When we were cranking on it last time, there was fuel coming out of the air inlet side. Now these Marvel Scheibler carburetors, they're an updraft carburetor instead of your traditional downdraft where everything gets sucked from the top, everything gets pulled in from the bottom on these. Initially I wasn't getting any spark to the spark plug, so I went ahead and changed all the spark plugs out. The distributed cap, everything in there looked pretty decent, but I still wasn't getting any spark there on the points. So my next trace was to the ignition coil. Now I didn't have my multimeter to actually test out the ignition coil, so I went ahead and I bought a brand new ignition coil. Problem was they gave me the wrong one. They gave me a 6-volt instead of a 12-volt. Luckily, when I pulled the old one off, I noticed that the negative ground wire was disconnected. It had been cut at some point. And when I tested the old ignition coil on it, it read just fine, so it should be okay. I have everything hooked back up. Now when I took out the old ignition coil, I did strip out the spark plug wire that was going to it. It was old and kind of corroded. So I went ahead and replaced that, got a new one in there, got everything reconnected. So now that everything in the electrical system is hooked back up, I'm hoping we'll have some spark. We'll test that here in just a second. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to hook up the battery. I'm going to see if my ignition system is running and I'm getting spark to my spark plugs. I'm going to try to get the system to chooch off with the stuck float valve. Hopefully, if I can get it to crank over and get some smoke out of the exhaust, I'm going to go ahead and pull that carburetor off and clean it up really good. I did get a rebuild kit, but it's not here in time, and it's another hour and a half back to the post office, which I really don't want to do right now. I do have some extra gasket material if I need to make new gaskets, so that's not a problem there. All right, so I have the spark plug tester on there. I'm gonna go ahead and get the battery hooked up. Hopefully I don't have any fires or that ignition coil blow up on me. So I'm not seeing any light. I think the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check under the distributor cap and see if this ground wire is actually grounded. Not getting any spark there. Had to adjust it, but I finally have spark. I'll show you guys. Hopefully you guys can see it. Good, healthy spark. All right, cool. So I'm gonna get this put back together real quick. And then maybe, just maybe, we'll get this thing to spark off. All right, so now we know that we're getting spark. I mean, I guess just crank it over and let's see if she'll do something. Oh, I got indicator light on. That wasn't on before. That's cool. Now it says the generator light should also come on. Getting power now. All right, spark plug's getting power. So that's good. The owners have the original manuals for this, as well as the 710 loader and the 92 backhoe. So that's pretty freaking cool, as well as an entire parts list for this lineup of tractors. So it says here, be sure to polarize the generator after connecting the generator, regulator, starter, or a battery. Do this before starting the engine. This will avoid reversing polarity, which can cause burned out regulator points, a rundown battery, or burned out generator. After all connections have been made, but before starting the engine, establish correct polarity by momentarily touching a wire to both the generator and battery terminals of the regulator. Okay, where's the regulator? Coils, distributor, cable, regulator. Number 15. Now I know what it looks like, now I just gotta find it. All right guys, so it took me a minute to find the voltage regulator. The regulator is under the dash. You gotta remove your dash and the regulator sits on the right-hand side. Now, luck would have it, I do have a bunch of old parts that I found in the shop. This is what the voltage regulator looks like. So it's got 3 points on one side and a single on the back. Now the manual says you have to touch the battery to the generator with a wire. It's actually stamped into each of these terminals left. I don't know what this is, an F or an E. Battery terminal's in the middle and the generator terminal is a solo terminal on the back. Gotta get the battery hooked up and then I can touch those points. There we go. Oil light comes on. Generator light's not coming on. And it could just be a burnt out bulb. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. Oh no! So I think what I should do is I have a filter. I'm gonna splice in a fuel filter right here, take some of this old stuff out, and probably drain the bowl on this carb. I wonder if the float is still stuck, or the valve. So here's what I rigged up. This is the fuel tank. Got a little Napa fuel filter here. Piece of new line, old line. So let's see what comes out of that tank. Wonder if we give her a squirt of ether. All right, well, we give her some Cosby sauce and see if she'll chooch off. Okay, she'll run. If I can get it to start sucking fuel, I might have a plug somewhere in the system. We're gonna try this again. flapper works. Okay, well, she'll crank on some ether, but I don't want to keep dumping it into the system. I'm not pulling any fuel. I've got to find a way to pull some fuel. Bad as it sounds, I think I'm gonna have to pull off that carburetor. All right, fellers and fellettes, let's get this out the way in case she explodes. Everything went well, or according to plan anyways. Got the carburetor off. The fuel line itself was actually clogged up really, really bad. I got it all over myself, but that's unclogged. Carburetor's all cleaned up. The gaskets could have been replaced, but I didn't want to waste the time just yet. The float was good. No leaks in the float. The float valve was actually stuck open, so that was my fuel issue initially. I'm gonna turn on the fuel and then we're gonna try to crank this over. I'm gonna try to not use the ether. So let's turn the fuel on. All right, there's half throttle, I think. Yeah. So open, about half throttle. Let's go full choke. Create a vacuum real quick. Oof. Almost, almost. It runs! All right. What do I do? All right, got to check the ice cube juice. She sounds really good. This is awesome. It's filthy. All right, let's see if the loader will work. All right. Before I get too crazy, we need to move this stuff out of the way. Yes! All right. All right, guys, now that we've got the beast started, It moves forward, reverse. Only one side of the brakes work. Only the left side works, so that's okay. We still kind of got some stoppage power there. There's a few things I need to do to get it running in tip-top shape. We're gonna try to sell this thing, so if I can get it running smoothly, get everything working great, that'd be awesome, get a little more money out of it. So first thing, I need to top off the fluids. When I was trying to use the buckets and the outriggers on the backhoe, the system would die and cut out. I'm pretty sure the hydraulic system is low on fluid, so we'll get that topped off. I need to top off the transmission fluid. I'm gonna check the oil. We were building pressure. We should have enough oil in the system to keep it running. We're gonna check the radiator fluid again, get the antifreeze topped off, and then we're just gonna go through, guys, and try to grease everything and see if we can get it operational. The carburetor definitely needs adjustment. If we can get that running just right, everything else should run smoothly. The other issue is my float in the carburetor. I'm sure it's sticking again. If it's not running, fuel will run out. So as long as you shut it off, jump down, turn the fuel off, it seems to be okay. And who knows, after running for a little bit, it might smooth it out. But I'm gonna show you guys where to check all the fluids, where to put them in, what kind of fluids, and then we'll go from there. So first thing I'm gonna check, guys, is the transmission fluid. This is the right side footwell. This is your brake pedal here. It might be kind of hard to see, guys, but there's a square plug right here. We're gonna remove that. And the manual says to top it off with SAE 80 fluid until it reaches the top of that drain plug. So it's got plenty of fluid. It's pretty nasty. It's kind of milky. My guess is water's gotten in the system, probably in through the top here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a bucket underneath it and catch some of this fluid. I might even drain some of it off from the bottom. Pretty nasty. You can see there, it's just spilling out chocolate milk. That's not good. I might even drain it. I should drain it completely and put new fluid, but I only have a little over 2 gallons worth of fluid. I'm not sure how much it takes. I haven't looked that far in the manual. All right, guys, so next up we have the hydraulic system, which is this large plug. It's right underneath your butt on the seat. That's the fill port, and the check cock is on the back side. I haven't quite found it yet. Wouldn't be surprised if this is full of water. I'm surprised none of my hydraulic lines have frickin' burst open on me yet. Oh yeah, she's milky. That is the hydraulic fluid that's coming out of the system, guys. It is just nasty. It's been sitting for 18 years. There's probably a bunch of water in the system. This is the left-hand side drain plug. I pulled out the test cock to check the fluid level, and it just came pouring out of there as well. So there's a bunch of water in the system. So I'm gonna get it all drained off and get it all topped off. I'll show you guys where the test cock is at. All right, guys, this is the, I guess you could say it's the level check. This is the test cock. Normally there's a little T. This is it right here. This is the plug itself. Normally there's a little T like the oil check over there, but this one looks like it was broken off. So I'm gonna back this out, and then I'm gonna start filling it up. You can see there's still some fluid coming out of that one. I'm gonna start filling it up with some 5-weight 20, which is what the owner's manual calls for. And then I'm gonna get my bucket in place to catch any extra that falls out. All right, now it's coming out, you guys can see. So we're gonna let that drain for just a minute. System is full, good. It's not gushing out. When I first opened up this plug, it came pouring out all over the place, and I was not ready for it. So hydraulic, transmission's been drained. I need to fill the air cleaner with some oil. Actually, I need to clean that assembly out, and then adjust the carburetor, and then we're good to go, maybe.
It's older than that, but.
Hey, I want
with that.